Very truthful.
I have a question. Are we going to do anything on like the last page?
Yeah, we'll probably take a test or something. Yeah, really. Oh, you might be in trouble then. We got to take a block exam. Oh no, I'm not a movie cupcake kind of guy. I'm a workaholic kind of guy.
You like that TV show? Are we gonna watch Workaholics in here?
No.
That's a bad.
B, grab one of those packets.
What?
One of those pages.
Okay.
All right. First things first. Open up that first page. The first page.
Like name or
Yeah, the name page. The title page. Okay, there's a couple of things that I would like for you to write on there. A couple of notes. On the front now, you can see on the cover page that the exam dates are the 5th and the 6th, which is a Monday and a Tuesday, which is kind of nice because it gives you the Saturday and Sunday before to do what?
study.
Or to crash study, yeah. One thing that you have to be aware of is that you don't want to wait till the last minute to get stuff in. Every day you've got to put in some work. Is everybody clear? All right, now open up to the next page. Go ahead and put your name. Okay, and then the hour. That way, in case something happens. Now, I don't have very many packets because I just didn't have that many printed. This is the only packet that you're going to get. So you got to make sure that you keep up with it. Don't lose it. Is everybody clear? This is your lifeblood for the EOY test. Okay? Whatever you've done up to this point, you've got a second chance for redemption. Okay? What I mean by that is everybody familiar with the grade bump?
Oh, that's in math also?
Yep.
No, what is
If you, write this down, if you pass the EOY test, you get a grade bump in your Algebra 1 class. Which means you can go from an F to a what? D. By just passing this test. Where are you going to go?
will it just take you like over 100?
No. An A is an A. You can't go any higher than an A. Okay? If you got an A in class, are you really worried about it that much?
No, but it'd be cool if I had like some
A Z?
A Z. You can have like an
Well, I mean,
If you fail the test, you're going to have to retake it.
retake the test or retake the class?
Retake the test. You can still, and that's a common question everybody asks. You can still pass the class and fail the test. Okay, which you'll still move on. Here's the deal with that. Whatever class you move to next year, you still have to come back and remember all this stuff. Okay, which is kind of hard for some people to do. You know what I'm saying? Okay, the other note that you need to put on there is no pass, no high school Diploma. How you spell?
DIP.
Close enough. You don't get a high school diploma. Okay? You'll have to keep coming and taking it. You'll have to keep taking it until you pass it. All right? One thing that I wish they would do is say no driver's license. But that's...
Some people already got their driver's license in like almost grade. Like before they take the test.
That's a reading test. You can't do your reading test like the APA.
Yeah, who was talking about like this, right? If you don't pass this one, you don't get your driver's license.
Right.
But like some people already got their driver's license, but they didn't take the test.
Well, they take it away then.
I'd really appreciate it.
All right. Open up to this page. Okay, test strategies, test taking strategies. Now, I would read through these, and these are really, really good, I think. That's why I included them. Okay? Don't spend no more than a few minutes on each question, guys. Okay? There may be some questions at the end of the test that you really know, or that you have a good understanding of. Okay? What happens to me, personally, if you get through all the questions that you know, what does it do for your brain? Kind of kickstart you, it kind of jumpstart you, right? And you may work a question later on that will do what? Help you with another question. Does that make sense? It kind of gets the old brain juices flowing, kind of gets it jump started, and you start remembering things a lot better. And like we said, you may work a question that will help you on a previous question. Okay? As soon as the test time begins, start working, keep moving. If you can check your answers using a method that is different, by all means. Okay? Avoid making the same mistake twice. Avoid spending too much time on one question. Skip the question too difficult and then spend more than a few minutes on each question, or spend no more than a few. All right, here's one of my number ones right here. This is, I probably would say 30% of people fail the EOY test because of this one right here. Some questions involve more than one step. Reading too quickly might lead to mistaking the answer to a preliminary step for your final answer. So the main deal is read the instructions. Carefully, write that down. Read the instructions. This is one of the number one reasons why people fail the test. If you can, check your answer using the methods differently. I'll talk about that. Work as fast as you can through the easier problems, but not so fast that you're what? Careless. Before you give up on a question, try to do what? We talked about this all year. Put stars around it. Circle it. Highlight it. Eliminate, eliminate, eliminate. What does elimination do? It increases your what? Chances of getting it right. Think positively during the test. This will help keep your confidence and enable you to focus on each question. And this kind of goes back to what? Skipping. If you don't know, just skip it. Go on to the next one. Don't spend too much time. Be aware of how much time you have left. Now it's not timed. I mean, it is, but it's not. If you're not finished, guess what? They're going to give you more time to finish. Okay. Learn as much as you can about the test ahead of time, such as all types of questions and the topics that the test will cover. Read all the choices before deciding which one is correct. That's a big one. And the last one is a repeat. All right. Find this page right here. This should look familiar, right? Every one of you should have one of these in your portfolio, right? Number one, I forgot. Okay. If you notice, this is a skills checkpoint. I would go through here and kind of just do a self-evaluation, see where you feel like you are, and if you can, just answer some of the questions that they have in there. Like there's 3 here, number 2's got 3, 3's got 2, 4 there's 1 there, 5's got about 3 of them. And you can just kind of go through there and see, and just kind of build your understanding. Now, if you don't understand what's going on, what can you do? Yeah, this aligns with your textbook, okay, which is 5. You can go to, if you don't have an understanding, you can go to pages 5 through 9 and read about it. Read these pages, and then guess what? There's some extra practice. You can practice some problems. What's the best way to study in math? Work problems. Now, ideally, I would probably, it says 19 through 28, but I'm sure I'm almost positive that there's some before 19, okay? And instead of working even problems, what problems would I work? The odd. Why the odd? So you can work it and do what? Work and check, work and check, work and check for understanding, right? All right. A whole bunch of those pages. Let's go back to the front, back to the review part. All right, did everybody get a handout? There's a, hey, did we grab me one of those handouts? Please, pretty please. Yeah. Thank you. All right, on your handout, what I want you to do is, if you notice at the bottom, there's a table, right? Okay, I want you to replace the table in your booklet for this table right here. In your booklet, replace it with this table. Now, all this is a modified version of what you have in your book. Okay, what I have included is this column right here. Okay, these are called what? Perfect square roots. This column is perfect what? Cube roots. I won't go over that here in just a sec. All right? Put that on the side. Go back to this book. There's a little bit of confusion. What do you know about expressions right off the top of your head? Expressions have what? What makes it an expression? No equal sign. Write that down. Now, we'll be grading you on each page. Like page 2 will be a grade. Page 3 will be a grade. Page 4 will be a grade. So on and so forth. Is everybody clear on that? Okay. What I'll do is I'll just call you up one at a time and check and make sure that you're working. Okay, now, so order of operations would be the same thing as what? Order of operations. Let me switch. All right, it says we follow GEMDAS. What is that? That's the same thing as PEMDAS. The P stands for what? Parentheses. What's the G stand for? Grouping. Now I tend to lean towards the G, the grouping, because why? You can't just say parentheses. You got to say parentheses. You also have to say brackets. You also have to say absolute value. That's considered grouping. Okay? You got to treat it like grouping. And then you also have to treat that. What is that? Okay, which is also called a radical. That's the term that you're going to see on your test. When they say radical, that's what that means. Square root. And of course, the E stands for exponents. Okay, M and D. Good. And I'm going to abbreviate some, okay? Just for time's sake. A and S. Good. Add and subtract is the last thing you should do. Okay. One thing I want you to change is change that 3 is on the root, so it's a cube root.
Are those supposed to work out?
Yeah.
1 to 5?
Yeah.
Oh.
Here's what I want you to change, though. I want you to change something because I don't think you'll see this. Change that negative to a positive. I don't think you'll see imaginary numbers on there. You can't have a negative number inside a radical. It turns into an I or imaginary number. Okay? So now let's look at these. Order of operations. What would I perform first on number 1? A radical, good. What would I do next after that? Subtract it and then find the absolute value, right? Okay, what would I do first on number 2? Can I do two at a time here? I could subtract that and then I could do the cube root of that. What about number 3? Absolute value. And then can I multiply also at the end? Yeah. All right. Look at this page right here. This is what I want you to do on this page. On this page, just fill in the blanks. The number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Perfect squares is going to be, you're going to need to know these so that you can factor stuff after a bit, because we're going to get some factor stuff. Okay, so the way you do this is 1 squared, the number squared equals what? 1. What's the square root of this number here? 1. What is 1 cubed? Okay, so the cube root of 1 equals 1. And all I did was just take this number here and just put it inside. Same thing over here. So let's go 2. 2 squared would be 4. So the square root of 4 equals 2. I just did that. So if you notice here, you go from square root of 1 to square root of 4. Well, what's in between there? Would square root of 2 be a perfect square? No. Okay, would square root of 3 be a perfect square?
No.
You see what I'm getting at? Okay, so if I said, let me think about it. Let's go to the square root of 28. And I said, factor the square root of 28. For 2 radicals, I can multiply. So it will give me that. So square root of 4 times the square root of 7. Which is one of those a perfect square? Which one? 4. So that would be 2, right? What happens here? I drop the radical sign, right? And then this is still times square root of 7. Is 7 a perfect square? Okay, so this would be my answer. Okay? That's why I had to do this. What's 2 cubed? 8. What's the cube root of 8? 2. See how it's all interrelated? What's 3 squared? Okay, what's the square root of 9? Okay, what is 3 cubed? What is the cube root of 27? So on square root, you're looking for what? Pairs. Pairs. On cube root, you're looking for threes, right? 27 is what? 3 times 3 times 3. How many threes do I have? I got 3, right? And they're all the same base. Yes, Gary. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. What's 4 squared? So the square root of 16. Or, again, notice, are there numbers between 9 and 16? Okay, so when you're factoring radicals, you always want to look for what? What do you think you always want to look for when factoring radicals? What do you want to look for? Perfect what? Squares. Because you can get those out of the radical sign, right? 11. Guys with me? Yes. I'll show you that here in a second. Okay, 4 cubed would be, anybody know what that is? 64, who said that? There. Okay, the cube root of 64 is 4. Alright. Got your calculator handy? Okay, that one that we just worked on the side, the square root of 28. You guys alive out there? Okay. Open on your calculator. All right. If I want to find the square root of 28, guess what? Your calculator will do it for you. Okay? If you find this symbol right here, the x squared, does everybody see the x squared? Okay, what do you notice above that x squared? Radical symbol, right? What you want to do to get to that is, most everybody knows this, hit the second button, and then come down here and then hit that x squared. You should see on your screen the radical sign right here. Okay, now you can type in the number 28. All right. Before you go any further, one thing I need to point out to you guys. Where's your cursor at right now? Notice that the radical sign extends out over the cursor right now, doesn't it? So the cursor is still considered in the radical. How do I get it out of the radical? Got to hit the arrow button. Now notice, where's the cursor? Outside. If you don't do that on some of your later problems, it won't figure it right. Okay, so just simply press enter, and guess what? Isn't that the answer that we just came up with? Okay, was your cursor outside? Okay, how do you do cube root?
Oh, so one right above it.
Yeah, look right above it. You see this little house top, right? You see in green, it said the X right here next to the radical. Okay, hit second, and then hit that sign where it looks like that, and then type in 27. Bring your cursor out and then hit enter. Is that wrong? Is the cube root of 27 1.86? So what did I do wrong here? Now how does it know what root it is? It doesn't, does it? Here's what you need to do. If I'm trying to find cube root, I'm going to hit 3 first. And then I'm going to go second. Notice what does it do to the 3? Yeah, it puts it above the radical, doesn't it? Now I can type in 27, bring my cursor out, hit enter. What's my answer? Okay? This is why I don't spend a whole lot of time on radicals, because the calculator does it for you. Okay? All right. Coming back. So you guys can finish that, right? If possible, I always combine what? Like terms. Good. What do you need to remember about like terms? How do you know if they're like terms? Well, the first part is pretty much common sense. They have to be the same what? Same variable, right? Always combine like terms. Okay, like terms are same variable raised to same power. Like your goodness. Okay, so what are your like terms for number 4? You've got to remember too, your plus and minus signs turn into what when you do this? Positive and negative signs. Okay, so I'm going to put a positive in front of that because it's understood, right? There's no sign in front of it, put positive. So that one and negative. See how the minus sign turned into negative? And then you just combine them. What would that be? Okay, so what's the other one?
4.
Very good. Put a 1 in front of that, right? Okay, same thing with number 5. Positive, right? And okay, translate to algebraic expression. What do you got to remember about that? No equal sign. Okay, remember what we talked about, less than and more than? What did we say about those? That the front goes to the back. So the 3 would go after that. Less than implies what? Minus or subtraction. More than implies addition. Yes, Gary, do you have a question?
Not on this. I forgot about absolute value.
What's absolute value of -2?
Is it just 2?
2. It's always positive.
So,
When you're talking about absolute value, you're talking about distance from 0. So even -2, how many units is it from 0? It's 2 units. So it's always positive, all right?
so when you find that, because it's on number 1, you figure that out, the square root of 9 minus 1 is negative 3, so the absolute value, absolute value of that is 3. And what do you do for 1/3?
Well, I mean, just, what is 1/3? You gotta treat absolute value like a grouping symbol.
So you just.
Yeah, but do what's inside first,
Right.
because it's still gonna come out to be the same. Alright, so you got the 1/3 square root of 9 minus 9 plus 6, right? We'll carry with there. Okay, so 1/3. Now, like we talked about on order of operations, when you perform a step, what do you need to do? Make a new line. It's going to be important on your test that you keep your information organized, okay, so you don't get lost. That's part of staying focused on the problem, right? Okay, so I'm going to do 3 minus 9. I perform the step, right? 1/3, what's the absolute value? Negative 6, right? And then find the absolute value of negative 6, which is 6. So these turn into parentheses. What do I have to do first? Which is?
I'm trying to like, so it's gonna be
Right.
So when 4 minus.
No.
Wait,
With the 4 at the end, you still have subtraction, so what's going to be at the front? 1/2 of x is going to be what? 1/2 x minus 4. Now, it's important on this one, more so than this one. Why? Because these minus signs turn into what? Negative signs. Right? What do you?
Well, on the next page where it says there's 4 types of slopes, it's a positive, negative, no slope, and.
Right. But more importantly, it's what? Quadrant 1, quadrant 3. What do we say that line is doing?
That'd be right.
That's what you gotta remember, okay? You gotta remember that it's rising, which gives me what kind of slope, like you said, a positive slope. Okay? Now, here's what I've tried to get you guys to, and hopefully I have succeeded. You guys know what most of this stuff is, the terminology, right? Okay? What I've tried to hopefully get you to is, if I know what, like standard form is a great example. If I want to put something in standard form, then would I just rearrange stuff? Okay, so what I've tried to get you to the point is where you know how I can move something to get what I want. Everybody clear on that? If I want to put something in slope-intercept form, then I can move this to get to that. Right? Okay? If you see the word rate of change or something per, then that's your slope, isn't it? That's your rate of change. Rate of change is the same thing as slope. It says right here. Slope can be defined as what? Change in y's over change in the x's, right? What is this axis right here called? The y-axis. So changing the y's is going to give me what? Up and down, good. Changing the x's, this is the x-axis. So that's going to give me a change in left and right, right? To run. Okay, so now, if I go from quadrant 2 to quadrant 4, what's my line doing? We say it's falling. That's the term that you're going to, some people say decreasing, but I don't know if you'll see that. What kind of slope you going to have?
Negative.
Negative. And of course, you know the other two obvious. Vertical line is,
No.
what's the slope of it?
Undefined.
Undefined. Okay, if it's a horizontal line, then the slope is 0.
No slope, same thing as 0. No slope.
Say 0. Because to me, there's a lot of people say 0 on this one on vertical line. Is that right? Not necessarily. It does have slope. It's like if I'm climbing up a pitch, right, a slope. It's hard for me to define it when it's straight up. You know what I'm saying? If you guys can't do those three, then we're drunk. Okay? I'm not. Find the slope between 2 points. Slope formula. What is the slope formula? Rise over run, but y of 2 minus y of 1 over minus x of 1. Alright. You guys remember what the number one rule I told you when you do this. Keep your negative signs separate from what? Minus signs. Why is that? Why do I have to keep my negative sign separate from my minus signs?
So you have confusion.
What's the rule? Stay, change, change. That's why. Okay? Here's another thing that you guys need to remember to do. When you're finding the slope from 2 points, are these 2 points up here?
Yeah.
Yeah? So what are you doing when you have a coordinate plane? You're counting it, right? It's easy to see. It's easy to count. What if I just have 2 points without a coordinate plane? Yeah, you got to do the formula. I would highly, highly, highly recommend that you do what? Label your points. And then this is what? X of 2, y of 2. Why do you need to do that? Yeah, order is what? Very important, right? Order is very important on that one. You guys clear? You sure? Because you're kind of looking over there. I'm up here. Everything's up here. I just want to make sure, because you guys understand whatever you've done up to this point doesn't matter. Right? If you pass the test, you're in the money. So to speak. I mean, really, think about it. Because if you're making an F, you're gonna pass anyway, right? And so you got a second chance of life. So second chance on life, so to speak. And a chance for redemption. All right. Slope intercept form is what?
Y
M is
slope.
2. B is,
Y intercept.
okay, not to be confused with what?
Y.
Y. Because that is what? The order pairs. I cannot spell. Okay. Fill out the table. Equation. What's my slope?
2.
2 over 1 or just 2. Okay. Same thing, right? Okay, y-intercept is
3.
positive 3. Do I need to know whether it's positive or negative? Oh yeah. Because that's where it's going to go on the y-axis, right? Okay, is the point on the line, yes or no? How do I know? You don't have to graph it, just plug it in. Didn't we say that that was my x and y? Don't I have an x and y here? How do I solve it? But can I solve that equation if I know what x and y are? Yeah, we've proven that, haven't we? So I can just plug my 9 in for y, say 2 times 3 plus 3. What has to occur here?
It has to equal.
Exactly. The left side has to be the same as the, and if it is, then it works. That point lies on the line, doesn't it? You guys with me on that? Okay. Remember, in order to, this is very important, in order to be able to look at an equation and know the slope and the y-intercept, it's got to be in what form? Slope-intercept. If it's not, you're not going to be able to tell me what the slope is. Okay? Solve it. Man, that's kind of easy, isn't it? What do I got to do on this one? Move the what? Move the negative 3 over to the other side. And it turns into a positive 3. And then combine 7 and 3, right? What about on 3?
Oh, yeah.
Move the 5x, which turns, if I move to the other side, turns into a negative. What do I got to do on 4? There you go, good. Number 5?
Minus x, divide them.
Good. Make sure you tell me the slope and the y-intercept. Got the equations. Can I grab all of these equations?
Yes. No, not number 9. Why you thinking?
Sure you can. That, you know, that's one of the most commonly missed ones, and it's probably one of the easiest ones. What's your y-intercept? 0. So where do I start? And then my slope is what? 1 over 1. So what? 1 squared, right? 1 squared. Yes.
That's perfect.
I'm trying to go fast. I mean, that's, yeah, it's pretty simple.
Oh, I know.
Okay,
Number 5 on
now, you guys go ahead and I'm gonna give you whatever time we have left. It's not real much. To work on the rest of that, you got pages 1 through, now, you guys are being graded. So when you come back tomorrow, I'm gonna give you some time you can work, okay? And I'm gonna say, Jasmine, come up. I'm gonna look at your pages 1 through 5. Now, how many grades are you gonna have tomorrow? You're gonna have 5 grades. You're getting graded per page. So in the grade book, it'll say ELY, page 1. Or it'll probably say year in review. It'll be YIR. Okay? Page 2. And I'll look at it, give you a grade for it. And it's probably just maybe like a completion grade. Is everybody clear on that? Okay, before you leave, stop. Listen to me. Don't go home tonight and not do anything. Okay? Because what's going to happen is you're going to get 1 day behind, 3 days behind, 10 days behind if you go home and procrastinate. If you do that, it's going to be too late. Too little, too late. And you're going to be in trouble. Remember, guys, you have a chance at what? And more importantly for most of you guys is to do what?
Bump your grade.
Bump your grade. And get that A.
Man, I'm with that.
All right?
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I got to finish with 3. What is? Slowly straight north.
Do you by any chance have a lunch duty list? I'm supposed to sub for somebody, I don't know, for 4,000, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I do somewhere around here.
Well, if